we're representing FSIC, the Flying Saucer Investigating Committee of Akron. This is Chuck Mackison, and I'm Larry Moyers, and would you give me your name?
Jerry Youst.
Your age?
32.
32. Your place of employment, where do you work?
Akron Police Department.
You work with the police department. Just in order that we don't add to or subtract from your account of what you saw at 1:30 this morning, would you start in pretty much as you were going up the boulevard there and give me a full detailed account of everything you saw and as much detail as you can bring into it?
Well, it was approximately 1:30 a.m. in the morning, and we just cleared a call at Triplet Auto Wrecking, and we were heading east on Triplet. And approximately Triplet and Woodstock, I made the comment to my partner. I'd seen this object a ways back, and I didn't say anything or even think of it. It appeared to be a harvest moon that I thought. And I made the statement to my partner that look at the large harvest moon ahead. And he said, that's no moon. He said, the moon's to the rear of us. I said, well, it's got to be the moon. I said, what else could it be? And we were continuing on, and by that time, we had gotten rather close. So I estimate maybe 200 yards. And the object was hanging down in a little valley-like behind some trees in the church. And the object appeared to be as big or bigger than the church itself. And at about that time, the object just seemed to diminish in size. I mean, staying parallel with the ground, and just started getting smaller. And all of a sudden, it just was southeast of us at the time we first sighted it, and it just veered off in a northeast direction, and it was rising rapidly. I mean, very fast.
Now, did you feel that it diminished in size before it started rising?
It diminished in size. Like I say, it was huge when we first saw it, and then it seemed like it was just on ground. It was just going away from us.
Even before it gained altitude?
Yeah. And all of a sudden, it just veered. It was going more. It was just going straight east when it was starting to get smaller. Then it veered northeast, and that's when it started making its rise into the sky. Then we estimate around Canton and Triplet or Canton Albrecht there, it just took a due east course. And we followed it out Canton and to Albrecht and down Albrecht, and we got down there around High Grove Boulevard and Albrecht, and it vanished, just disappeared into the sky for about 5 seconds. Then it appeared way out beyond Mogador, Suffield, out in that area, for a matter of 2-3 seconds. I mean, it didn't come down close to Earth. It was still way up, and then it just disappeared again. And that's the last we saw.
Now, you say we. Who was the other person with you?
Officer Bickett, John Bickett.
John Bickett.
Partner, yeah. He was driving the car.
And to the best of your knowledge, were there any other possible observers to the...
Well, there was a fellow, like I say, we were going up to the Sahia station, Canton and Triplet, to get our heater fixed. And when we saw it, we were going to go up there and get him, to see it too, but if it was going to hold still, like it was, but it didn't remain in one place. It just took off. But when we first come upon it, it was stationary.
I believe there was some mention on the radio this morning of the State Highway Patrol having seen something also.
Yes, State Highway Patrolman stated he observed the same type of an object in Sawyerwood, which is only 3 miles from the scene where we first, sighted it.
Did he pinpoint the time as about the same?
Yeah, it happened approximately 5 or 10 minutes before we,
Oh, before you saw it?
Before we saw it, yeah. He saw it first.
Yes.
And he observed for about 5 minutes out there, and then he lost it. Then we saw it over here on Triplet, and we called in to our radio dispatcher and asked them to check this airport, see if they have had any sightings. And our dispatcher called back and said that the airports hadn't received any, but the State Highway Patrolman had spotted something, he said, at 8 and 224, which was right in that area, because the patrolman said that he had seen it in Sawyerwood, and he pulled off 224 there and observed it for 5 minutes. And he said it was moving, because he fixed the position of it with a light, telephone pole or something out there.
Now, I think we have missed some of the detail of the shape of the object when you first saw it, and the coloration, and then the changing of the shape and its color.
When we first saw it, it just looked like the bottom half of a huge harvest moon. The top half was covered by cloud layer, and it was very brilliant, an orangish gold color, and sort of as it was fading away, it appeared to have sort of a waffle-like design on it. And as it was disappearing, though, into the sky, it just had the appearance of two saucers put together.
Now, you're speaking of this waffle-like design. Was that a grid-type thing?
Yeah.
And this was demarked by dark lines? Or?
Yeah, like I say, the color of the object itself was an orangish gold or yellowish gold, brilliant color. Mm-hmm. And the lines on there seemed to be sort of a orangish brown color. I mean, not very vivid. I mean, but you could see them sort of set off.
But there was this crisscrossing effect.
To me, it appeared like, yeah.
Yes.
Could you tell me approximately how many vertical lines and horizontal lines were in this grid?
No.
Was it 3 or was it 10? Or 100?
No, it wouldn't have been 100. I'd say maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 in that area.
Matter 5 to 10.
I mean, they were spaced.
Going both horizontal.
But they weren't real distinct. I mean,
Well, you got this impression.
We saw it an instant there, and it was, going away from us. And like I say, when we first saw it, we didn't think even think of anything of the sort of, what it could be. Like I say, we was thinking it was a moon or a blimp or something, coming across there all lit up. And if you see something, you could observe it and know what you're looking at the first time. You kind of look for detail. Well, this thing here, it just was moving away. And like I say, it was covered by trees and that. Fortunately, there's no leaves on the trees. You could see, through the trees.
Now, as it gained altitude, now how about the coloration?
Well, as it gained altitude and before it disappeared, it was just a brilliant white.
Brilliant white.
Yeah.
And how long do you estimate it took you to drive from your original point of observation? Now, you suggested this morning that it did get larger to you for a little period as you approached it.
Yeah.
And then from that point that you first saw until you hit Canton Road, where it hit the clouds,
it was about a minute probably. From the time I first saw it until the last sighting of it. I mean, the whole episode probably took no more than a minute.
I can see where you wouldn't get too much time for detailed observation. But a minute's a long time when you're looking at something.
I mean, if it had just disappeared straight out and that was it, we could see it. But the thing went out and then it started veering off. And you could just see it going across, right out across the sky there in the northeast direction. And like I say, out around Canton Triplet in that area, general vicinity, it just took a easterly direction, and that's...
What were the weather conditions at the time?
No, it was clear. It wasn't raining. It rained about anywhere from half hour to an hour after the sighting, but at the time it was clear. There was heavy, cloud coverage.
Broken clouds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the moon, you could see the moon, it would, be visible, and the clouds would drift by.
Now, you did see both the object and the moon separately.
Yeah, but I didn't see the moon at the time. I was watching the object, but I told my buddy that, the moon ahead, and he said that's not the moon, because he said that the moon is to the rear of us, and he looked back and he saw the moon behind us in a northwesterly direction.
He did see it.
Yeah. And we did, after the sighting and everything, we did see the moon. And the moon was, at the time, would have been, like I say, to our northwest. And the moon was a sort of a whitish color. It was nowhere even close to the color of the object that we saw. Mm-hmm. It was, like I told this gentleman here, about a third of the size of this object.
It did appear to stand still at one time.
Well, it actually, to me, it appeared like it was taken off from us. Mm-hmm. There was no other traffic on the road at all. And when we came up there, it appeared to be just in a motionless position until we started getting close, and then it started going away from us. And the faster we got, then it just shot up into the sky then.
And it did suddenly speed up.
Yeah.
Or give us a turn.
Oh, it had tremendous acceleration.
It didn't break up into any parts or explode or this type of thing. Give off any smoke?
No. It just,
Did it leave any visible trail?
Well, you mean like a tail or
meteor?
something?
Yes.
No.
Did it drop anything?
No.
Change
Nothing
brightness?
we could see. Well, no, it just went from that orangish gold color from the close to the Earth there until it got up in the.
And it did change shape from the half moon scallop top to the double disc shape.
Yeah.
Do you remember if there was any wind at the time? Strong wind?
No, I don't think it was windy out there.
You observed the object at all times through the windshield?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't stop the car?
No, we stopped at Canton, or when we got out of Albrecht and got out of the car after we'd lost it, the last time, but it never came back.
But at no time did you observe it outside of the car?
No.
I see. You used no binoculars?
No.
Was the object fuzzy or blurred or sharply outlined?
No, I'd say it was quite clear, sharp.
Sharp
The
lines of shape?
Like I say, it didn't just a big ball there, like the sun or something, and have a lot of fuzziness around the edges. It was distinct. The outer edges was quite distinct.
Seemed to be self-luminous?
Yeah.
Yes.
But see, there's nothing around there to cause any reflection. Of that great magnitude, because it's a residential area, and they just got, back in that area.
A coin will cover the moon. If you hold a nickel up like this at arm's length, you can't see the moon beyond it. Actually, if you were to hold your hands out like this at the closest point, just visualize this. How wide a spread would you have to make to cover the object at your closest point?
At our closest point?
Yeah. If you're looking through your hands like this.
I'd say about like that.
It would take that much area.
It was huge.
You see, at 200 yards, if you were to expand this...
it was huge. I'm not kidding you. It was.
And how much of the church would you say that it would take up in its bottom swing?
Well, it was above the church.
Yes. But
and it was as big or bigger than the church at the time we saw it. And the church...
this is amazing.
Yeah, because it was huge. It wasn't just a little spot. It was huge. This church, I don't know if you're familiar with the church, it's a good-sized church.
Yes, I am.
It's not a great big church, but it's a good-sized church. And this object was beyond the trees of this little wooded area. And it was, like you say now, if the object was in front of it, you could see, you get that, but it's behind it, and it is still as big or bigger than the church.
Were there any conventional aircraft in the area at the time? You didn't see any?
There was nothing, no. Now, it was no air. If it was some type of an aircraft, it was none that I've ever seen.
Now, if you were to compare the speed of the object with a piston, a prop job, a light plane, a jet, or faster, how would you compare it as it took off?
Well, I've never seen anything accelerate like that. Like I say, we were coming into the bend when it started moving away from us, and my buddy started going faster around the bend there. By the time we got down the vial tire, it was just about completely out of sight. And it just stayed at that level. It seemed like it just got up to a certain level and it stayed there. Then out in Albrecht, it disappeared. Then it came back out, whether it just went through a cloud layer or something, I don't know, or whether it went higher and came back down again, I don't know either. But it disappeared there for 5 seconds, then it came back into view again, and it disappeared entirely.
Now, let's see, nearby we have the Muni Airport, the Aerospace Goodyear aircraft, and of course the Zeppelin dock. Have you ever seen any other objects of an unidentified nature?
Well, no, just these Sputniks, things that they put up on certain nights. My wife and I, we've sighted things. You see in the paper about
they were
the timetable,
yes.
yeah. But I've never seen anything that I've ever. Well, shooting stars.
Have you been called today by the Air Force or federal, state, county?
No. Newspapers are the only ones that's called.
Beacon Journal did call you.
Well, the Beacon Journal was at the station when we came in this morning.
Oh,
was waiting there
they were there to meet you.
Then tonight, some woman from the plane dealer called and talked to me. Then this morning, before I talked to you this morning, then talked to WAKR and WHLO. There's only 2 radio stations.
It's a lot of interest. It's amazing the amount of interest. Did you hear the Dorothy Fulltime program the other night?
No, our television set blew up when I was there about a week ago, and we haven't had a TV set.
As I talked with the captain at the station this morning, he told me that they weren't logging UFO reports now, they were holding them on individual cards. Mm-hmm. What did they mean by this?
Well, see, since we got over to the new station, now they've got a new radio system and they've got a new setup. Now, I don't know, I haven't been in there to see it, but they used to have just a big sheet, mm-hmm. and had lines on it, like a ledger sheet or something, and they put the time out, the reason for the call, what type of a call. Then when you call back, they put the disposition, and that was on a big sheet.
How long?
Yeah. Now I understand they've got cards with all that on there, and each time a car gets a call, they take that card and they put the time they get the call, the date, the reason for it, the car number, who called, the party calling, for what reason, where they're calling from, and all that on one card. And I guess that some way is going to be filed according to cars or districts. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen their setup.
They're in a revolutionary change.
They have changed. Yeah, they have changed the setup down there. But as far as logging, I don't know, or putting on cards, I don't know.
Some time ago, I understood that they had assigned a man to handle UFO calls. Do you know about this?
No, I don't. No, this woman called from Plain Dealer today. She said Kent State couple. Did you talk to them?
No.
She was saying that. She said, "Are you familiar with the Kent State couple that sighted this object Friday night in North Hill?"
Oh, yes. We have about 8 or 10 calls on this. I was thinking you were talking about last night.
No, this was Friday night.
Yes, Friday night we have a great many reports. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we've called practically every airport within 100 miles to see if there were any advertising planes in the area. And to the best of our knowledge, there were not. Mm-hmm. But it seemed to be a disc-shaped object with a fast-rotating rim of lights around the perimeter. One man said he was very close to it, and he has been a pilot and could identify almost anything. And he said it was nothing that he could identify.
That's the way with me. That's nothing I've ever seen before.
Well, one more question. I suppose since the information here is pretty much general knowledge, you probably have no objection to our using it also. The ways in which we use it is, for instance, we have a monthly meeting, and quite often people who have seen them come down and share what they've seen with us, as Del Spar did. He came down and shared. And then we have a little monthly bulletin that we put out. Has a circulation of around 200 now, around 600 on the mailing list, but we don't very often cover the whole mailing list. And occasionally we have other public education means in which we use it. Do you have any objection to this?
No.
Very fine. Do you have any questions, Chuck, that we've missed?
I'd just like to go into a little bit more detail on several of these. The weather. Now, you mentioned clouds. Are you familiar with the classifications of clouds at all?
Well,
were they large, fluffy type, or high,
they were dark
type?
Like I say, it was dark out, and all I know is there was a low ceiling, and at night, with no illumination, it's pretty hard to distinguish the clouds, and the moon was in and out, during the night before this until it rained, and after that, the cloud coverage had it, completely covered up. But they were dark, very dark clouds, and they were rather low. Like I said, when the moon would come out in a clear spot, you could see the clouds, and they were rather low.
Could you give me a rough estimate on the percentage of the sky that was covered by clouds? 5/10 or 2/10?
Well, we can get this information from the Weather Bureau.
I wouldn't.
I'd like a map from you, giving your locations and the angles from or the direction you observe these from, and if you changed position at all. Did you change position
Well, most of the time we were heading east because Triple Boulevard runs east. And till you come to Canton Road, then we had to make a left, which would have been north. And we went one block. And we made a right, which is east again, and headed directly east on Albrecht.
There at the church you have almost a 30-degree angle turn, a curve there.
Yeah, but it's when it straightens out, you're still heading east. I mean, you're like this part of Triple Boulevard is heading straight east, and you make a sort of an S turn like this and go straight on east. So actually, you're continuing on, in an easterly direction.
It is an S curve, yes.
Little S curve there, where you head north, then come back east again. But it's only just a small turn there,
Did you have to lean forward in the car at any time to look out the window? Was it real low?
Well, even when it was going, because it was going out away from us like this, and we could, our partner was driving, and he could see it all the time that I saw it, and without leaning out, looking up or anything like that.
What you just showed me there with your arm, was that about the approximate angle you
when it was taken off, yeah. I mean, like when we first saw it, it was to our right or southeast of us. But then when it was going off into the sky, it was approximately that angle like that.
Well, I think that's about all I have, Larry. Now I'd like to get some angles, if at all possible, and bearings.
No, you feel you'd have to be out there on the spot to get these. I was wondering, you go to work at 11, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we start, by the time, actually we were supposed to be on duty 11:30. By the time we get out of the station, it's about 11:45. So we changed downtown now. We used to change out in our districts. Now we change downtown, which holds you up sometimes from 11:45 to 12 o'clock, depending on the roll call, and information that they're putting out down there. So sometimes it's after 12 before we get out in our respective districts.
Thing he was wondering about was when possibly he could maybe catch you in the area to get the angles. Is that right?
Oh, well, we'll be out there all night from, like I said, midnight to 8 in the morning.
I've got a schedule myself around 11 o'clock. You're not driving, are you? I mean,
no.
I was wondering,
You could drop me off, I could get my car.
Well, no, I know you're not driving here, but but you do have a car.
Yes.
Do you suppose you could? Do you have a pressing schedule for tomorrow morning?
Well, I have to get up in the morning.
How early?
Not now.
Well, I mean, do you feel you want to pick this up tonight or maybe another?
Well, we could do it.
Well, I'll figure it
tomorrow. I mean, it's not a pressing
Well, I'm off
thing.
Tuesday night. I'm off Tuesday night.
Well, it's tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're off tomorrow night.
Oh,
Tuesday night.
Well, maybe you can make arrangements
Yes,
to...
well, sure, we can, although I do have the equipment now.
Yeah.
We can do it tonight. You will be in the area, you say?
Well, how long for sightings and that?
Yeah, see, he has some equipment
all
that he...
I'd like to do is just kind of walk through the steps that go through the motions you actually went through in observing this.
Oh, I see.
And then I have a compass and a device to measure the altitude. And
See, if he could pin exact moments of observation along with about 3 or 4 other people observing it from different directions, he could just about tell you, well, how high it was and what have you.
Well, I see.
Maybe we could go on the cruiser.
Well, yeah, if he wanted to meet us out there.
If you met him out there,
Yeah.
get him, in the cruiser and go around.
well, what about manners out there? You ever pull in there?
Well, we do. We're not allowed to stop until after 1 o'clock. New rules.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They give us a list of about 10, 15 things we're not allowed to do now.
Wasn't that
They're starting to get a little chicken down there, but
we can close election time, isn't it?
Well, that and plus there's levy coming up.
Yeah.
Then they get a news station down there, and they're, this comes up every so often.
Oh,
They
yes.
start just like in the service. They got to keep pushing, get a little
Industry the
education.
same way.
Yeah. But we just grin and bear. We know it's only going to last for a while, and things will slack off. But yeah, we can meet you.
Do you have a regular spot you have to report in or something?
Yeah, we got, like I say, we got to be
Time.
at the station about 11:30. And at 11:45 to 12, anywhere from then to there, we're relieved, to go out in our district. You got to give us time. So actually, I'd say if 12:30 would just, would give us enough time to get out in our district and clear the station and meet, we could meet you out
The
there.
problem with your office is they would have a call right at that time.
Yeah.
And you might find yourself writing a call.
I could do about it.
Well, what we could do is we can just call our service and tell them we're going to be out of service, for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then they can,
Well, how about if I meet you tonight at 12:30 at the control tower parking lot,
It's okay.
right in front of the control tower
Yeah.
there?
At the airport.
Right.
Right, and then if you're delayed for any reason, I can go in and have coffee or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. It'd be all right. If you get there early, or if we can get there early, we'll come by there and
Okay.
maybe make it earlier.
Well, actually, I'll be there about 12. I'll be there plenty of time.
Okay. Well, as soon as we can, we'll come by there, and if you're there at 12 and we're out there at 12, we'll
The thing I'm pressing for is to get a taped interview with this truck driver over the traffic between Parkersburg and Marietta.
Oh, you're on that case?
Yes.
Well, you do this on the side. I mean, it was just
Well, yeah,
your big job.
this is no.